What if I told you that becoming a net worth millionaire has nothing to do with how much money you're making today and everything to do with the way you're thinking about money? You see, here's what no one tells you online. Most millionaires you follow don't ever talk about investments, assets, or the difference between being a revenue millionaire and a net worth millionaire. And that's because they skipped the first rule of getting rich, and that is that cash flow comes first. You see, you can't build real wealth until you have cash flow, because most people are talking about investing in crypto or investing in real estate, but you actually need money for your money to work for you. So for example, when I was trying to quit my corporate job, I would do some work on the side as a side hustle to actually make money to reinvest back into a business, because I knew eventually I was going to have to build a business to get consistent cash flow without having to trade my time for money. So what I did was I learned a highly profitable skill, and that was social media management. I saw a lot of local business owners wanted to be on social media, but they had no idea how it actually worked. And then as I started to make money, I started to build this new belief around money, right? In my corporate job, I was making $55,000 a year. I can't even believe that, because I've made that in literally one day before from having a live launch for my online course. So in these moments where I talk about those stories, it's crazy to see how quickly your life could change, because that was just 3 years later. Which brings me to rule number 2, is that your beliefs are the blueprint for how much money you make. So for example, we all have a certain number that we can't mentally surpass in our minds. So for example, before I ever had a business and when I was just working corporate and I had some jobs in college, I always held this belief that the maximum amount I could have in my savings account was $10,000. And it's so silly to think about, but I would literally find ways to play it safe so that my bank account never surpassed that $10,000. And it's crazy because I've gone through that at even higher levels, like $500,000 in my bank account. So when you start to think about these things, you have to ask yourself, what are the current beliefs that I am holding about money that are preventing me from becoming the millionaire woman that I know I'm set out to be? Because then this starts to leak into other areas of your financial health, like undercharging because you don't believe you should be making more, not closing deals because you secretly self-sabotage. You see, I didn't become a millionaire by grinding. I became a millionaire by building inside of the right vehicle. So let me explain. Remember how I told you I used to be a social media manager when I was trying to quit my job and just make a little money on the side? Well, the truth is that was just step 1 to get to my first 100K. I was a social media manager doing done-for-you services, and then I also started posting on my own social media. Then I got into coaching, and I was just very distracted. I was doing a lot of different things. And then I discovered online courses and online education. And I realized that I could build a course one time and then I could sell it to the masses. So I got into that and I started selling online courses around my niche and around my personal brand. And then what happened was, once I actually proved that people wanted to buy the courses that I was selling, then I took it bigger. I went from making $200,000 a year as just a little online coach or course creator into building a full-fledged online education company that now makes over $1 million a year. You see, I stopped just trading my time for money, and I actually learned how to build leverage through building an online business. And if you want to learn exactly how you could tap into online education and online courses, go ahead and click the first link in the description, because we're helping a few people build and scale high-ticket online coaching businesses so they can build highly profitable and highly cash-flowing businesses. You see, online education is the most leveraged business model on the internet right now. You get to be paid for being yourself. So I monetize my knowledge around social media, mindset, building online businesses, and I learned how to get paid to be me. So the thing is, you have to get cash flow first, and then once you get that cash flow, you can then redeploy it into other assets. And if I'm being totally honest with you, there was no crazy investment strategy that got me to become a net worth millionaire. It was actually all through my online business. After I earned my first $1 million in my online business, I was not a net worth millionaire. I was a revenue millionaire, meaning my business had processed over $1 million in sales. And then just a year later, I hit $2 million. And by that point, I had become a net worth millionaire. And truthfully, I did very little investing. I just had a high yield savings account. And I think I made like maximum $10,000, $20,000 on that. Nothing crazy. I built to my first $1 million all through the cash flow that came through my high profit business. And I want to show you how you could do that too. And I'm going to show you that through this last rule, rule number 5, which is it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. So a lot of people are trying to show you, okay, well, if you work a corporate job and you make this much money, then you can invest this much into your 401k and then buy a house and all these things. When you're building out your portfolio or diversifying your wealth, what you have to realize is that not every investment is the best investment. So for me, my first year, I invested into the skill of learning how to make money. So my business can keep cash flowing. And now, after I got to a net worth of $1 million, I bought my house and I began investing in the stock market and investing in crypto. So to me, that stuff can come later on. First, you have to learn about the skill of how to make money. I know this is a little bit of controversial advice, but especially when you're a personal brand or an online coach or an online course creator, you're building in the right vehicle where you can have high cash flow, high profit, and what you want to do is you want to keep compounding that cash flow, because later on you can work with the best of the best to learn the skills of diversifying your wealth. But first, you have to learn how to consistently make cash flow until you can make that cash flow work for you. So now that you've learned the rules to becoming a female millionaire, I want to actually teach you the 4 money secrets that are keeping you broke. The reason why I know this is because it took me years and years to even just start posting online when I knew the vehicle that I wanted to build in was online courses and social media. So go ahead and watch this video next, because I'm going to teach you the secret beliefs that are holding you back from making your first $1 million. I'll see you there.